name is William O'Donnell, and I am here with
Joshua Halpin.
and we are doing this for our National History Day project, and we chose George Washington leading the Revolution. Today we'll talk to you about three main battles that happened during the Revolution, and basically one of the most famous events in the Revolution that happened at Valley Forge. Well, anyway, as we get started, George Washington was born February 22nd, 1732, and he died December 14th, 1799. When the news of the war first reached him in his home in Virginia, he quickly enlisted to fight for the colonies. He did own slaves, but later wanted to abolish slavery, and before the war he was a farmer and grew many different crops, including wheat and marijuana. Okay, so anyway, George Washington's crossing of the Delaware River, which occurred on the night of December 25th to 26th, 1776, was the first move in a surprise attack organized by George Washington against the Hessian forces in Trenton, New Jersey. Planned in partial secrecy, Washington led the Continental Army troops across the icy Delaware River in a logistically challenging and dangerous mission. He defeated the British troops in a surprise attack after he crossed the river. Then, on the way back, they have captured prisoners and gained many stories of their victory that day. Washington's army then crossed the river a third time at the end of the year. But it was extremely difficult and took them much longer to cross the river this time because the thickness of ice in the water grew exponentially. They defeated the British reinforcements on the other side of the river under Lord Cornwallis at Trenton on January 2nd, 1777, and defeated his rear guard at Princeton on January 3rd before retreating to winter quarters in Morristown, New Jersey.
Five 18 days after, in the fall of 1777, the battle days of Saratoga were a turning point. September 19th, British General John Burgoyne achieved a small but constantly victory over American forces. Through his troops' strength had been weakened, Burgoyne again attacked the Americans on October 7th, but this time was defeated and forced to retreat. They surrounded 10 days later, and the American victory convinced the French government to formally recognize the continuous cause and enter the war as their ally.
In December, Washington marched his tired, beaten, hungry, and sick army to Valley Forge, a location about 20 miles northwest of British-occupied Philadelphia. From Valley Forge, Washington could keep an eye on General Howe's British army in Philadelphia. At Valley Forge, Washington's men were sick from disease, hunger, and exposure. The Continental Army camped in crude log cabins and endured cold conditions. Even with all these bad things happening to the army, the terms of enlistment were ending for many of the soldiers in the army, meaning that the soldiers that signed up, the amount of years they signed up for were ending. So that means that they would be able to leave. Then, after that, he learned that a lot of their terms in the army were ending. Washington wondered if he would even have an army left by the time spring finally arrived.
On this day in 1781, General George Washington commanded a force of 17,000 French-American troops began the side known as the Battle of Yorktown against British General Lord Charles. Cornwallis and a contingent of 9,000 British troops at Yorktown, Virginia, in the most important battle of the Revolutionary War. Earlier in a stroke of luck for the Carters, the American fleet commanded by Francois Dupont Strait Dominique, Washington realized that for Yorktown time to act, he ordered Lady Team, an American army of 5,000 troops, blocked Cornwallis escape from Yorktown by land while the French naval fleet blocked the British escape by sea. By September 28, Washington had completely encircled Yorktown with the combined force of General Constitutional and French troops. After 3 weeks of non-stop bombardment, Cornwallis surrendered to Washington in the field at Yorktown on October 17, 1781, effectively ending the War for Independence.
After the Battle of Yorktown, peace negotiations began in 1782, and on September 3, 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, formally recognizing the United States as a free and independent nation after 8 years of war.